Good afternoon, everyone. So, how are you all doing out there? And if you just quit going to a grocery store, it will get you a little smooth. But as soon as you go into a grocery store, you will start realizing everything is going up in price. So, let's talk about how the economy react to tariff tax. So, tariff, right? When people hear about the word of tax, they think it's something related to the rich people. They are the one paying taxes. I don't pay taxes. I'm actually getting a whole bunch of money back from the government when I file my 1040 because I have 7 kids and I'm a single mom. I got a lot of refunds. So yes, that's absolutely true. When you are at certain income level and you do get earned income tax credit, child tax credit, you deserve it, you have it. But what you are not realizing is the tariff tax is not the taxes you're talking about. Tariff tax can be simply thought of as a national sales tax. You know how you go to store, you buy certain things, you pay sales tax, right? That's kind of default. You go to Home Depot, you buy something, you pay sales tax. But of course, if you go to a grocery store, the food is not subject to sales tax, but the national sales tax, tariff, is not discriminating whether it's a food or not food. Everything has that tax. So this is what tariff tax is all about. So today we're going to talk about that. Talk about that to build your understanding of what that is and understand why the price is going up. I'm not saying that to understand the price going up. So no, not what you want me to do, Ying. You just want me to be pissed off and not happy. No. And what we are doing here is to educate you of what causes what. Once you have that relationship mapped out, and you as a small business owner, and we want you to do the best you can. We can save the big economy. If it is going to go into the great meltdown, like what we're doing, and the folks are calling it Trump recession, so whatever that is, give a beautiful name. It is a economic movement in people's lifetime, right? Is in my lifetime, in yours. So you want to rise about it to be fairly better than the majority of the people. If you can do that, you survive, right? We're talking about survivalship, and you need to have a little better physical to get better, to survive. So what we are teaching you here is to explain to you what is tariff. And then on Saturday, I want you to come to my webinar. I will talk about ways to level up with the great meltdown. Whether you have $5 or $5 million in the saving, it applies to you anyway. So come to listen to that and know what you can do to fare better compared to the rest, right? So that's our purpose. And it's really non-political, and it's just a matter of the fact. And I am not very good at doing the matter of fact, but I try my best. All right, so let's go with our structured presentation here. This is our website, communitycpa.com, and when you want to put your service money somewhere, put in the firm that really do things for you. And we have people coming from the big fours and coming to our firm to have our service for their business. We deserve it because we do such a good work here. And of course, our YouTube channel is our knowledge sharing channel. That's why you are hearing me right now. That's why you clicked into YouTube, you found us. And I want you to subscribe to our channel. That's the support you give to us. At the same time, let other people know. They can find information here unbiased, and we try to stay neutral, focus on objective, which is make money. All right, this is a one-pager about our firm. I'm going to skip it. This is the books I wrote. I wrote these 2 books, folks. I'm writing the 3rd one, and I like the idea I have for the book. 8 a.m. we talk about the beginning of the business. 10 a.m. we grow the business. 2 p.m. is the one I'm writing. It is to expand your business. It will have a lot of content, just like the other two books. No responsibility disclaimer. You know my opinions, even though I form my opinions, but who said that my opinion has to be correct, right? So you want to listen to more opinions than form yours. And you want to know what you're looking for once you found the answer, and make sure you engage professional firm to do the surgeries on your business and on your personal finance, right? What is tariff? Tariff is a type of tax levied by a country on the things that come in, okay? And the tariff has historically been a tool for government to collect more money. So of course we are in such a deficit situation, and we absolutely needed more money. So this is the administration thought of, okay, let's just charge tariff so we can come out of the debt. It is way for government to get more money, and also to say that, oh, I don't want your stuff to come in, and then I'm just going to grow it on my own. It's also a way to do that, right? And tariff is not just us doing that, the other country doing that too. Let's say you are a country, I am a country. I say to you that when you bring me a jar of peanut butter, I'm going to charge you 25% on tariff. So the peanut butter worth $5, $10, let's say. So we add $2.50. We add a $2.50 on it. It becomes $12.50. And that $12.50 will be whoever got the peanut butter want to resell. They're gonna mark up on the $12.50 again for their profit. So the person who tastes the peanut butter going to be the one absorb that tariff tax. So if I did that to you, when I give you a jar of strawberry jam, and you are going to say that, you got me 25% on peanut butter jar, I am going to get you a 30% on the strawberry jam. So whoever I am selling strawberry jam to you, and you taxed me for 30% tariff tax, this is reciprocal, right? This is you do it to me, I do it to you. So tariff is not as simple as just raise the tax, like how we do it locally with the school and with the county. Oh, just raise the tax so we can collect that from the sales tax. This is reciprocal. So the other country will do similar things to you, or even worse. So what does that do? That will put the country in isolation. So you don't want people's things to come in. People also don't want your things to go out. So what you have produced for the other country will become wasted, because you don't need that production anymore, and you cannot export out. And for the importing things, the other country also cannot be importing to you. But if you are the only one on earth doing this kind of stuff, then the stuff will be shipped to other continent, shipped to other country. They will find a way to sell their stuff, to sell their things. You know, a solid proof. When President Trump was the president for the first time, so he did a tariff war with China. So we put a lot of taxes on the Chinese stuff. What happened? We effectively reduced importing from China to U.S., and from U.S. to China, their reciprocal agreement, their reciprocal means to be there too. So U.S. stuff also don't go to China the same way. So the Chinese developed the ways to sell their stuff to other continents. On this earth, there's more than one continent, more than one country. So it can go to the other country, the other continent. So Chinese actually already weathered that tariff war U.S. give to China. And what happened? I think we hurt ourselves a whole lot big. And then Chinese find a way to do their things properly. So I'm sorry, I have to say that, because, if I see that is how we are doing, I'm a little bit straightforward. and I don't sugarcoat this hardship to be a temporary hardship. You know, the first English word I learned when I came to Canada, you know, the English word, of course I learned a lot of English words back in school, but when I came to Canada, the first word I learned, not on the dictionary, is the F word. That was the word I learned. You know what? I used that a lot for a while because it's just so relieving. It's just like, great. Can I just use that? Now I live in North America for so long, and it's really not my second nature to use F word, but sometimes, and it feels like that might be a better mental relief to use F word from time to time. And the Tariff Liberation Day, April 2nd, which is tomorrow, President Trump will let you know the new tariff big document. It will have all the tariff put on for everybody, every nation, and it will be punishing the people who take advantage of U.S. in the past. So it's called the Liberation Day. You know, President Trump called that Tariff Liberation Day. So we're going to be going in to celebrate tomorrow on the Great Liberation Day. The tariff aims to revive domestic manufacturing and fill government coffers by imposing reciprocal tariff on the countries that levy fees on U.S. exports. You know, my take is that, you know, I always want to ask folks, you know, is U.S. has the best life for the majority of citizens? If the answer is yes, then this country wasn't too bad for whatever was doing. So whatever we were doing may not deserve a total gut out and to do a brand new thing. So to do this tariff peanut butter approach on everything, everybody, for every item, that would just isolate the great state of America. And here we have, you know, we have so many things that we consider ourselves brilliantly good, but now we have a tariff tax to test whether we can survive this price gouge that is going to come in right away. And that Liberation Day basically is a broad scope of all tariff, and it will be put on. So it is expected to raise $600 billion annually for federal government from tariff tax. But just imagine that, yes, you got $600 billion, but the price will go up, and the grocery store will be more expensive. So consumer people, the ordinary people, would be able to buy less. You know, we're buying too much in the past. So now the price went up, so you are able to buy less. You know, should celebrate that because a lot of us have have obese issues, so we can get little starved, so we can reduce some body weight. So that would all be positive, you know. So the Federal Reserve projected higher inflation and a slow growth for 2025 from this Liberation Day and on. And the auto industry, you know, among all the others, is bracing for a significant impact. So that is where we are on the Tariff Liberation Day. Has U.S. ever won tariff wars in the past? So there's two significant events. One is 1930, and this is the Tariff Act was signed by the President Herbert Hoover on June 17, 1930. And with that, the U.S. import decreased by 66%, while export fell about the same, 61%. You think that, oh, you know, we do tariff tax, why export also go down? Yeah, because the other country will do that with you. You raise, they raise, so it's created a silo for product exchange. So, you know, at that time, back in 1930, 1,000 economists signed petition for President Hoover to veto that tariff tax, and it didn't work. this is where the story when I was little kid in China, there was always a story about how bad capitalism is. So the story we were told at school is that there are people starving on the street, but there's farmers pouring milk into the sea. So my question to my parents, I remember that so clear, why are they not giving the milk to the people who don't have any food to eat? Because I think the illustration we got in the school, it was like a homeless people on one side, then the milk was pouring into the sea on the other side. So that picture registered with me, always a representation of capitalism, capitalist. But of course, I lived in the capitalism society much more than the time I'm in the communist society. So I don't exactly agree with that. But what I'm telling you, that picture, it was actually coming from this time. Because of the recession, those milks supposedly to be exported out. The farmer produces it, it goes out. But because of the tariff tax was on agriculture products, so they cannot export them. So with that, they poured into the sea because they are already on the container going overseas, but the other party don't pay for it, and then they just have to dump it right there. That's where that story comes from. So it is not really about, oh yeah, now you got more milk, so let's just ship it back to the farm and give it out to the poor people. It is not like that, right? And the economy is not a tea party and with the little girls sitting around the table. It's just not the same thing. So with that said, and I'm so glad I have this opportunity to explain to you what I know when I was a kid, and that is the story about tariff tax. All right, about China and the U.S. That tariff war started in 2018. So the 2018, actually, that tariff war brought harm to both countries. And I would say that China did go through downturns because of the tariff U.S. put on, and because of this, the free trade is not there anymore, right? So with that, and China had, for the last 8 years, started to work with Europe, work with South America, and then now you can see the new alliance are there already without anyone talking about it, but the new alliance is there. Chinese and the Chinese products are going to Europe. So that is really how the tariff tax will change the landscape of the United States of America's position. But of course, maybe the White House and the Trump administration wanting to accomplish that. I'm just a little citizen and I don't have the views that thousand miles high, and I don't see a great picture of, what they're doing. But I just see what I see. So I want to say to our small business owner that you, me, and others, there's not much of you can do. Okay, and really, I'm not even sure there's a way to bring this thing to a different angle or to explain that in different ways. You're not gonna find anything that's gonna give you a positive spin on tariff tax, other than the cabinet members and the White House peoples, and they know what they're doing. Maybe that's what they want to do. Maybe that's what they want to make America great again, by self-sufficient, like the old century farms where you have your milk, your rice, and everything there. Everyone is just using what the land can produce. But that requires every American people, every small business to get used to those century farms lifestyle. If you are so into progressive lives and you are so into the product, the things that you use right now, maybe that is not something planned for. That's not what this government is really leading us to. So that's what I am saying to you about tariff, and so you just be aware of that. Then, of course, and with the China and the U.S. trade war, and in 6 months, there's already showing the pain on both sides. So I'm just giving you this article, and to say that, as concluded by Heather Long at Washington Post, U.S. economy growth slowed as a result of the China tariff war. Business investment froze. Companies didn't hire as many as people. Across the nation, a lot of farmers went bankrupt. All right? And manufacturing and the freight transportation sectors have hit low, have never seen since the last recession in the 30s. So these are the results from the tariff war that is already kind of leveled up. So now we're coming into this Liberation Day with a whole new set of tariff war. So, as a result, I say that it hurts the small guys the most. So what you are looking at is increased cost, means that you go buy anything, it is more expensive. So for small businesses, you want to start looking at your cost and really think of how to weather this time. Economy is never really guaranteed going your way, one way, a good way. No, with politicians getting involved with the economy that can be manipulated by a group of people or small group of people, and with agenda that known or unknown to you, and you get a result of it. But since you know that is the result, then what you need to do is to really tighten up your belt and figure out how to still run your business successfully with the given condition. And the supply chain disruption is guaranteed, but you want to figure out how to look for different ways of getting your supplies and giving some more open-minded thought, maybe even do different business. And the farmers are closing farms, and we know why, because they can't be putting so much money to grow the crops and knows that it will stay in the barn forever because nobody buying it, and we shut down the gate already. So the China used to be a very big agriculture product purchaser from U.S., and now we don't have them. And they don't buy it from us anymore. They buy it from somewhere else. And our farmers are actually have excess production, just like the example I give you. Milk poured to the sea. Milk poured to the sea. And that is a haunting story growing up, knowing that's what the capitalism is doing. And of course, that's really just because of one policy. Not the world is that way, which I learned. There's so many things I enjoy. If you say that it belongs to capitalism, a capitalist, then maybe that is the good life resides inside of this structure. But we want the government using government policy to influence economy, that can be a very dangerous path. And small business do not, last in college town because of the tariff tax will trigger the relationship. Make sense? And the relationship will not be there. People are not they're not coming to you and feeling they got the best education, they live the best life, and you are the dreamland, the golden platform for every dreamers on earth. But those will hurt that. You will start seeing small business in college town die away, and the countries affected by U.S. tariff have imposed their own tariff on American goods, so that will hurt our small business. If you had someone used to buy your stuff from Europe, from Canada, from China, and then be prepared, that would not happen because the sentiment is not there and the people are upset about what's going on. So it is still our business owners' responsibility to find a way for your own path, right? And we can tell you what is going on, and we will advise you on Saturday the best way for you to weather the storms right now, and what are the things you want to put your money in. What are the things you don't want to put your money in? And we will give you our opinions. It's definitely not some proven golden rules out there. I'm not anywhere close to the information that in the White House, so I don't know what's going on. What I know, it is just CNN News and NEC News and Fox News, and so those media channel, that's where we get our information. So with that said, and I hope that you realize you need to take your fate into your hand, do as much as good for your own business, and now you know things are on the rise. So if you could buy it ahead of time, buy some. If you couldn't, make sure that you finding ways to save your expense and weather through this difficult time. Sure, if tariff goes on and on for 4 years, by the 5th year, people are got used to it. You won't forget the pain you have back then, right now. So it is all about weathering it through in your, with your own system. All right, I know you want to know more, so this is our partner's information, and I hope that what I give you help you to think. What I give you motivate you to finding better ways to run your business. So on Saturday, I have this how to preserve your wealth through the great meltdown. So I'll give you my thought. And by looking at our clients, knowing what's going on with the business at the smaller scale, okay? My clients are not Elon Musk kind of people. So a small scale. So I'll give you what we can do on the small scale, and hopefully it will be really helpful so we can go on the right direction. Hopefully when the storm pass and we become the one that, do lose but not lose everything, right? And do hurt but not die. And so it is still better than not doing anything and just be killed by the economy. All right, so this is our YouTube channel. And you want to get into our YouTube channel, we are politically neutral. I always say that. And we look at just objectively what's going on, nothing else, nothing more. And you want to see what we put out there, because a lot of those subject is actually time sensitive, because we see that happening. That's why we talk about it. And you always get the newest, most needed knowledge by subscribing to our channel. All right, so this is our last slide. Just tell you we're open 6 days a week, and we have Catherine in the background guiding everything happens here. And her email address is catherine@communitycpa.com. You can email her to tell her that what you like to hear. And you can also email her to criticize what you hear, but anything you want to do, and we have an open channel for you to voice your thought. So I hope that you enjoyed, or you were totally involved in this webinar and forgot about what other things you're doing. Don't forget driving if you're listening. So I hope to see you on Saturday, right? So I'll be giving you my thought of how to preserve your wealth during the great meltdown. See you on Saturday. Bye-bye.